What's up, everybody? We got the skull today. So, y'all know me. If you do know me, you know that I love skull. I love teaching skull. I love shooting skull stuff. I'm kind of the weird one in the x-ray world. So, want to learn some skull anatomy? Here we go. So, my class is starting skull next week, and we start with the cranium. So, we're going to talk a little bit about the bones of the cranium real quick. And then as the weeks go, we'll delve into the anatomy, all of this other fun stuff that we have. All the 22 bones that are in the skull. 22 bones total in the skull. 8 cranial bones, 14 facial bones. So, like I said, we're going to start with the cranium. Mostly the outside part, a little bit of the stuff inside as well. So, we're starting the front right here with this. This is easily enough the frontal bone. So this is your frontal bone. So starts up here all the way. Don't pay attention to the different colored blues. These are just two skulls put together. So all of this in this blue is the frontal bone. Obviously it's inside there as well. So anything in that blue shade is what we call the frontal bone. If I can put our skull back together. The frontal bone has this big suture that separates the frontal bone from the parietal bones. The suture is called the coronal suture because it's kind of the coronal plane. So, coronal suture. So as we move posterior, towards kind of the wall of the skull. These are two bones. These are paired bones. So these are the left and right parietal bones. And they go all the way down to here, back to this little junction as well. And inside a little bit in that color as well. So the parietal bones kind of form the wall of the skull, kind of all this part. The suture that separates left and right parietal is the sagittal suture. So, sagittal suture separates left and right parietal bones. All right, so let's go ahead and flip it around. Talk about the back of the skull now. Back here, this, and whatever color this is kind of brownish, is your occipital bone. And as you see, it extends inferiorly as well. We know what this big opening is called? The foramen magnum. That's in the occipital bone. So, occipital bone is the back, base of the skull. The suture that separates occipital from parietal, and this other bone over here, is called the lambdoidal suture because it forms like the Greek symbol for lambda, which is like an upside down V. Shout out to Starbucks for the great coffee again today. All right, so far we've covered 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 out of the 8 cranial bones, right? So, we have some more paired bones. So we have this kind of orangish color on either side. That's kind of this area right here. These are your temporal bones. So you have a left and a right temporal bone. And if we open it up, we see more of that. All of this in this kind of orange color. I'm a little colorblind, so if I say wrong color. All of this is part of the temporal bone. These little ridges in here are very important landmarks when we're positioning for the skull. And when we're evaluating images, I should say. These are the petrous pyramids. The very top part being what we call the petrous ridges. Which is important where we see them in different projections. So we'll keep that in mind. So left and right temporal bones. Okay, so now we're up to 6. We got 2 cranial bones left. So we're gonna go with the smaller one first. Right here, this little white area in the middle. That is your ethmoid. Can't really see it under there. You can see it in the medial orbit, that little white area there on either side. That's part of your ethmoid as well. Ethmoid also extends into the nasal conchae. So some of those nasal conchae are part of the ethmoid bones as well. The ethmoid bone, I'm sorry. So ethmoid, kind of small right in the middle. It's got a little, you won't be able to see it, but it's got a little point that sticks up right there. We talk about that a lot too. That's called the crista galli, another important landmark. That's 7, right? We got one bone left. The bone that doesn't make sense, how it fits in our head. So this darker, I'm going to say reddish color here, could be wrong with the color. This is the sphenoid. You see the sphenoid here. You see the sphenoid right here. You also see the sphenoid in the orbit, in here. See on either side, that same color? So the sphenoid stretches out into everything. The sphenoid, interestingly enough, articulates or touches all of those other 7 cranial bones. So see, it articulates with the frontal up here, the occipital back here. So it articulates with all of them. There's an important little structure in the sphenoid as well. It's kind of hard to see it here. It's this little ridge, this little depression kind of in there. The whole structure is called the sella turcica. That's where the pituitary gland sits, right in that little structure. And so that part of the sphenoid bone protects the pituitary gland and keeps it safe and all that good stuff. So those are our 8 cranial bones. The other sutures exteriorly, so between the temporal, sphenoid, parietal, and occipital is called the squamosal suture. So you have one on either side, a left and right, since we have left and right parietal bones. There's another little small suture right here between temporal, sphenoid, frontal, and parietal. Now remember what that one's called? That's called the pterion. Again, one on either side. The pterion. It's spelled with a P, PT, but the P is silent. So that's an overview of the cranial bones of the skull. So got any questions? Drop them in the comment. Thank y'all for watching. I hope this helps a little bit. And I will see you later. We're going to continue on with facial bones. And we'll talk about the sinuses. We'll talk about everything with the skull a little bit. So y'all have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.